We'll start with the flag salute. Don, would you like to lead us? Sure. Roll call.
Commissioner Grunsky is absent. Commissioner Midgley.
Present.
Commissioner Mealis. Commissioner Rustaller.
Here.
Commissioner Sangha.
Here.
Oh, do we have the minutes?
There are no minutes.
Agenda changes. Are there any additions, withdrawals, or requests for continuances?
Thank you. Item number 1 is requesting a continuance to the April 6th meeting. As a note, Commissioner Milas has told us that he will not be in attendance at this meeting, and this project is in his district. The next meeting with the full commission is April 20th, just for your
Vote on that?
And if you have anything that the commission wants to discuss regarding the continuance, or if you want to hear from the applicant, which generally isn't necessary, but if you wanted to do that, you can. So you have a discussion, and then there would be a motion on it, a second, and a vote.
Is there any discussion?
It is in my district, so, and I'm sorry I'm gone. Meeting, if we could do it to the, push it to the 20th, if that's everybody.
Is that okay?
I'll motion to move it to the 20th.
Second.
Vote?
Commissioner Sangha.
Yes.
Commissioner Rusaller.
Yes.
Commissioner Milas. And Commissioner Midgley.
Yes. Passes. So it is moved to April 20th. Are there any items that are not on the consent calendar? Any public comment? Anything that anybody wants to bring forward that's not on the agenda? Oh. I need a motion to say at a further date.
I'm not sure who it was that spoke. So if you do, so you've asked for public comment on an item not on the agenda. If someone wants to come down and make a comment and it happens to relate to an item that you've previously voted on, the commission could then discuss whether to do a motion for reconsideration based on that comment. I'm not recommending or not recommending at that point, but that would be the proper procedure. So if somebody does want to address the commission, they should come to the podium pursuant to your request for public comment.
Okay. Would you please come to the podium and state your name?
Robert McMahon. I live at 16701 North Tecklenburg Road. It's in regards to the Rivermaid project that I'd like to discuss. I have previous commitments on the 20th.
Okay. Any discussion from the?
You would go ahead and just continue to take public comment. If based on public comment you do want to reconsider the previous item, you could do that. But I would go ahead and complete public comment, and then you as the chair could ask whether you want to have a commission discussion and whether anyone wants to make a motion for reconsideration on that previous item.
Okay.
At this point, you've just accepted public comment
Okay.
from the gentleman who can continue with his comment, and then you would ask for any other public comments.
Okay. Thank you.
So,
Yeah, we'll talk about it when we're through with the public comment.
okay,
Okay.
sit down. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ken Norgard. I'd like to talk about the county ordinances for VRBO short-term rental in ag land property that's getting ready to be implemented into the county planning division.
That's included with our item number 2.
That is our item number 2.
You have an item on this today?
We do.
We have a proposed text amendment as our item number 2. And some of the text amendment is a portion, it does address short-term rentals.
Oh, because of hotel tax and all that.
Okay.
correct?
That may be outside what our text amendment is then.
Okay.
So,
So why don't
Wait,
we do
so
this? Megan, could you assist this gentleman and provide him with tonight's item? Just give him a copy of tonight's item. Let's have the next speaker come to the podium. If, based on what she shows you, you still want to make a public comment,
Absolutely.
you could make a comment at that time, and we'll do it that way. But if it is on tonight's agenda, what we'll ask you to do, if I may through the chair, I apologize, we'll have you come back and comment when the item is called for public hearing tonight.
Thank you.
Megan's coming down with you, for you.
Yeah, Mike Smith Engineering, 4 North Main Street in Lodi. The reason we want to continue it is because the gentleman with the most knowledge of the facility is out of the country right now. So we'd really like him to be here. We're, the time has been kind of stretched out. We'd like to do it as soon as possible. And I know I won't be here on the 20th. So
okay.
That's the way it is. But I'd also like to say that I'd like to meet, people have questions on the project, even though we're not going to talk about it tonight. We can back and we can discuss it, and hopefully we can answer some questions and maybe be able to.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comment about something that's not on the agenda?
My name's Audie Andrews. I live on Tecklenburg Road. This is regarding Rivermaid, right? Item number 1. So I would ask the board to reconsider the April date and maybe push it to May, when more people would be in the country and more people would be available for public comment, and keep that on the record at that point. Is that out of line?
Oh. Thank you.
That'd be my recommendation.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no more comments, I'll turn it over to, is there any discussion?
Yeah,
Anybody want to make a
I
motion?
like the gentleman's suggestion. Look, there's one side of the issue that has somebody out, and there's the other side of the issue, somebody's going to be out on the 20th. Chose not to do it tonight. We're not having a meeting on the 6th because another member will be absent. So the next logical date would be May 4th. So I make a motion to rescind the April 20th movement, and I think, do we have to vote on that first, and then another motion to go to May 4th?
So if I may through the chair, I'd first recommend that you confirm that the applicant is available on the date that you're considering, which I believe is May 4th. May the 4th be with you.
Okay.
Sorry, this is not professional. And then, so I would ask the applicant to weigh in, and then the proper motion, because you've had a motion on the continuance, would be a motion for reconsideration, and and I don't believe you have to do a vote on the motion for reconsideration. You could do a motion for reconsideration of the continuance to go ahead and change the date from the 6th to the 4th.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Well, I see one of the gentlemen's, I think,
Oh,
is.
yes.
Do you have something you want to say?
When I'm with Rivermaid, can we just make it 4-6? I know we won't have a full complement, but it's getting pushed out so far. We started this whole project in December of 21, and we think we'll have enough people. The CEO of the company will be back. The gentleman here available on the 4-6th. That be okay?
Discuss?
April 6th, you will not be here. I guess it's up to you.
The commission.
Thank you. Like to discuss the,
You guys are going to have a meeting in the back? You going to work this out for the 6th? You can do the 6th. No.
If you're talking to the commission, I need you to come to the mic because we do try and keep a record of the meeting, and that I'm speaking to both commissioners and people in the public through the chair.
Thank you.
It's important for us that people who are either listening online and all of that. So please come to the mic. And Commissioner, if you have a question for somebody, please ask them to come to the mic.
Would you please come to the mic? Podium.
I apologize for my own professionalism. It would be great if the board would have a full complement at the meeting.
Could you please state your name?
Audie Andrews.
Down to me not being here. So as much as I'd love to be part of their meeting, if you guys want to move it back to the 6th, and we can work this out, I'm okay with that.
6th of April.
Yes.
Does that work for the rest of the parties? It apparently works for us, Commissioner. I think that would be a good date.
Fine.
Thank you for your time.
Okay. Thank you.
Then I have to amend my motion.
So, and I don't know if somebody already made the motion, so it's a motion for reconsideration of the vote of continuance to make the change from, right. And then the commissioners are determining whether they in fact want it to be heard on the 6th, even though District 4 representative won't be available. So that is what the vote is. Is that motion, is the first motion for reconsideration been made? Commissioner Russo, did you make that motion? Okay.
Made it, but I made it for May 4th.
Okay.
And so I'm taking back my motions, so Commissioner Milas can make his. And so now, I'm not offended in any way.
So that's been taken off, that's been taken down, so now there's no motion pending, and so now if another commissioner wants to ask for a motion, they can do that.
Can I ask a question? For April 6th, what if we don't have a quorum, or if we have a commissioner missing today, and if he's not available, or if one of us is not available, the quorum has to be met, right?
Always. So
3.
I see, Commissioner, I see your question. If I may, through the chair, address your question, regardless of whether we've continued to a date certain, if we do not have a quorum, or for some other reason we cannot meet another atmospheric river, God forbid, what would happen is that meeting wouldn't happen, and then the items on that meeting would roll to the next meeting. So just by continuing it to a date certain, if there's no quorum, you would certainly not be able to conduct the commission's business.
Thank you.
All right, then I'll motion to change my first motion to go back to the Rivermaid for April 6th.
Second.
Motion passes.
Oh, we do need to take a vote, and we'll do that by roll call through the clerk.
Okay.
We got this.
Ready for the vote.
Commissioner Sangha,
Yes.
Commissioner Rusaller,
Yes.
Commissioner Milas,
Yes.
Commissioner Midgley.
Yes. Now, motion passes.
I'm sorry. Totally sorry.
Okay. Now, so we don't have an action item. The next item, number 2. Now we're ready to discuss development title text amendment number PA-230021 of San Joaquin County to update tables and text related to fencing, animals, and various typos, errors, and omissions. The project site is countrywide. Environmental determination, this project is exempt from the CEQA, to section number 15061B3. The notice of exemption will be filed with the project if the project is approved.
Thank you. I have Senior Planner Megan E. Geary that will make a presentation for you.
Okay.
Good evening, Vice Chair and Commissioners. Development Title Text Amendment Number PA 2321 is the first set of cleanups that the Community Development Department intends to make to the recently approved 2022 Development Title. In this first round, staff is proposing a number of amendments to allowed uses, setbacks, fencing, animals, and various other items. Since the 2022 Development Title became effective this past December, staff has begun to use it and found typos, errors, and omissions that have been discovered. Proposed amendments were anticipated as part of the adjustment period since the prior 1992 Development Title was in use for 30 years without major changes. Following these anticipated amendments, staff plans to schedule periodic amendments on a less frequent basis as deemed necessary. Changes were made to the use tables for inclusion of missing use types, such as farm services and off-premises signs. Clarification was also made in regards to short-term rentals, which should have only been listed in the accessory use tables, but were also erroneously included as a primary use. Amendments also include clarifications regarding special use regulations, such as the locational limitations on the equipment, sales, repair, and storage leisure use type in the agricultural zones. Fencing amendments include reinstating height and setback exceptions that were in the 1992 Development Title, as well as adding back in clarification that barbed wire fencing is not permitted adjacent to a permitted residential use, a residential zone, or an area shown on the general plan for residential use. Cleanups are also proposed to the development standards tables for both the residential and agricultural zones for better clarification. These cleanups include addressing the agricultural building setbacks, which had unintentionally been increased from a 10-foot setback from side and rear property lines to a 50-foot setback. Several amendments are also proposed related to animals. Within the animal standards table, clarification has been added that horses for educational purposes only and swine are permitted under the animal raising, family food production, education use type. 2 definitions for household pets have also been consolidated and clarified. Additionally, the number of animals permitted for a home occupation for dog or cat breeding is proposed to be amended from 4 adult animals to 3 adult animals, consistent with the number allowed for household pets. Proposed amendments are also included to provide clarification and correct various other items throughout the 2022 Development Title. In order to process the Development Title text amendment, several findings must be made in the affirmative. These findings include that the proposed text amendments are consistent with the general plan, will benefit the public, and have been reviewed in compliance with the requirements of the California Environmental Quality Act. The proposed text amendments are consistent with the general plan and benefit the public. Additionally, the project has been determined to be exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission forward Development Title Text Amendment Number PA 2321 to the Board of Supervisors with a recommendation for approval based on the ability to make the required basis for Development Title Text Amendment.
Discussion? Or anything for discussion?
Hey, my name is Ken Norgard. I came to San Joaquin County in 1984. Been here ever since. Went to University of Pacific. I'm a civil engineer, mechanical engineer. Met my wife there. She's a mechanical engineer. And we like this county. And we appreciate all the work that you guys have done, keeping our regulations and rules, make everybody sort of happy. I mean, not everybody's happy. We decided early on to buy property, ag property, out in the Clements-Lockford area. And I've been there. I bought the first place out there was in 1989. And I bought another place across the street in 1999 and proceeded to build my dream house on 25 acres. I was raising cattle. The winery started going, so next thing you know, got rid of some of the cows, got horses, and we planted a 15-acre vineyard in the back. We have a neighbor beside us that also has 22 acres, and sadly, he passed away in an airplane accident. Anyways, he was on a cruise in Alaska. And talk between him and I was, hey, his piece is landlocked. So in order for him to go in and out, there is a private easement between the two properties, which in turn means that property owner A gets to travel across property owner B, which would be me, on a 25-foot non-exclusive easement. What that entails and what that means, it's a non-exclusive easement, meaning that they have the right for ingress and egress. And it's kind of a, who has the right? Property owner A and cross property owner B. So I become the servient tenement. He becomes the dominant tenement. From there on, we now suddenly have a situation where we are VRBO, Airbnb, it's all new to our county. I mean, it's sort of new. Short-term rentals. I've spoken to a lot of people. I've lived out there for 30 years plus, and there's a lot of concerned individuals out there about what is being implemented in the planning department. And I'm not trying to attack you. I want you to understand where I come from. Once the children had the piece of property that the gentleman lived on, who actually rode horses almost every day with my wife, came up to the barn to horse people. They turned around and sold it. I tried to buy it. Couldn't make it happen, so they shut the sale down, then real estate went crazy, and 4 families bought the property. Now, okay, next thing you know, they come out one time to the property, one time. The only time I ever seen them there. And then they said how great it was, and yeah, they loved the place. And within 3 or 4 months, next thing you know, this thing is a short-term rental. I guess they got some sort of a permit for transient housing, because at the time, there wasn't an ordinance, because my department, we haven't seen this before, right? This is a wave coming. So I went down to the planning department, and I'm looking at the county ordinances, and there is not one particularly specific short-term rental. Okay? But there's verbiage all over the place that single-family residence on ag property can't be a schoolhouse, can't be multifamily, can't be a lot of things, including actually some sort of a rental. What happens after that, next thing I know, it's, I've never seen anything like it. I don't believe I've called the sheriff but one time in this county. And that's when I was first here. My motorcycle got stolen. I played football for University of Pacific. And guess what? I learned my lesson about Stockton. I didn't really know. So I didn't lock my motorcycle, and next thing you know, it's gone. I called the sheriff, and well. Now we come to this rental situation, and it just so happens that the 25-foot easement goes in front of my front yard. It goes in front of my house. It goes in front of my barn where my horses are. And then it turns and goes next to 2 neighbors that are 10 acres, and 66 on the north side. And next thing you know, I'm like, wait, what are you guys doing? I said, the management lady shows up and says, hey, I'm renting this out. I said, excuse me? What do you mean? I don't want that. Why do you think I live out here? Oh, this will be fun. What do you mean fun? Well, you'll meet new friends. I don't need new friends, excuse me. I live out here for a purpose. I could have lived in town. I could have lived at the country club. But I spent all my money building where I'm at. 3 different rentals shows up, 3 different times, 3 different weekends, and guess what? I had to call the sheriff 3 times. 3 times. On the second time, the back of the window, my tractor got blown out. I've never had anything happen out there. I don't understand. So I'm trying to figure out where you guys are going with all this. The third time, as a matter of fact, my wife got chased off our property into the house by renters. So it's very hard to understand where you guys are coming from by suddenly taking ag property and saying it's okay to have short-term rentals without certain provisions. There should be some special cases, and what I'm asking you is maybe to look at your new rules and laws for your ordinance and take a look. There can be certain situations that happens. Why wouldn't there be some sort of a regulation that if I wanted to go and take my property right here and say, hey, I'm gonna get a short-term rental permit, shouldn't the property owners adjacent to that be notified and have some sort of a say? Or is it just a process and you guys, oh no, you guys can have it, you're an ag property. Okay, now in my situation, I now have a 25-foot non-exclusive easement that's basically been turned into a public highway. These are strangers coming in and out. And I'm not saying that I'm against short-term rental or VRBO or vacations or It's just that fact that there's a lot of pieces of property out in the county that have basically been landlocked, and so there's easements coming in and out. Now, once that happens, impact to the person that's the servient is unreal. My wife and I, our life's been destroyed. This has been going on for almost 1.5 years. We can't go in our front yard. We can't let our dogs out. We can't do anything. When people drive in, guess what they do? They come flying in like wild hyenas. So I ended up I went by the law, and I said, okay, I'm going to put up some speed bumps. That wasn't even enough. So then I put up livestock gates. I got livestock, but then I got slapped and got told, oh no, you can't have those. That's interference. Hang on a second. This is ag property. So what I'm saying is the shoe doesn't always fit. If you have a piece of property that's made, that goes all the way up to a county-maintained road or a city-maintained road, hey, so be it. If you want to do a VRBO, Airbnb, or short-term rental, go get a permit. Maybe the next-door neighbor should be notified right or left side. I would think that would be something in your process. And I don't think that the people next to them is going to say anything because it doesn't change anything, really. Now, if the property is landlocked and the only way in and out is across somebody else's property, farm, ag land, there should be some sort of a stipulation, some sort of a other variant of your permit process. And I would think that you would be able to look at it and say, hang on a second. What's the impact? The impact is on the person that you're driving across. For what? Is it for ag? No. It's a mini hotel. I have basically a mini hotel next to me now. So I went down to the planning department, about 3 months ago. Sat down with them, talked to them, looked at all the papers. Here's the new ordinance that we've been working on. Yeah, and it says you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this. I'm like, okay, that's all fine and dandy. But what about this case? Well, we don't really have a provision for that. But okay, I understand that. So I go in the back. and it shows all the various tables, and lo and behold, it says Ag AL. So I'm in the AL 10 zoning, and it says short-term rental, not allowed. I'm thinking, oh, got this. People are starting to understand. It turns out and I think this is part of your process right here, is that you're trying to clean up things that are kind of being aired. So it turns out now, no, this is what you guys are doing. You guys are going to allow short-term rental on ag property. Realize what's going to happen? At least I think I do. I might be wrong. Maybe it's the conglomerate money, VRBO, Airbnb who's pushing this. I'm not sure that the ag or people who live out in the farmlands pushing any of this. I really don't think so. Because everybody I know, and my neighbors, I've known them for over 20 years. And they're like, this is the first I heard of this.
This is fairly new, and we have discussed, we have discussed that this is a new thing coming up.
Right.
For us to take a look at and see if we want to have certain provisions. I don't think we've gone that far yet.
I'm just asking the board to please take another look. I'm not saying, hey, I don't want VRBO, I don't want short-term rental next year. I'm just saying there's got to be some sort of the shoe doesn't fit all. If properties are landlocked, you are now impeding, you're impacting all the properties all the way to a county maintained or city maintained road. And what's happening to us? What's happening to those people? I didn't buy out there to have a hotel next to me. I hate to say it. I hate to call it a mini hotel, but that's what it turns out to be. The people that bought the property, and I have nothing against the people, but they don't live in our county. They have no connection to our neighborhood. None whatsoever. This is all just a business. Well, wait a minute, hang on a second. How are you doing a business on ag property? And how are you thinking in your mind? No, maybe some people, they just, hey, this is business, that's what it is. To me, I would have been like, there's no way I could do this. If I was like, I think, have we rented one Airbnb one time? Maybe once. I wasn't very comfortable with it, but okay, it was in Seattle. But if I'm looking up a VRBO or Airbnb and I see in there that I have to travel across somebody's private property off the highway or off the county road or off a city road, and I got to travel on somebody's private property to get to the property that I'm renting, I wouldn't be excited. Because I'd be feeling like, hey, that's wrong. It's just wrong.
Is there something that, can we make notes? Are we considering making rules about the Airbnbs?
We can definitely look in as staff. We can definitely look at the section, at the short-term rental section, and bring back a discussion.
Okay.
Planning Commission.
That'd be wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we all have heard.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I feel the same way you feel, sir.
Thank you.
I got to go back. You said you went to the planning department. They showed you what the rental situation is.
Yes.
For your area.
Yes.
And then you're saying tonight you're looking and it's been changed because you first.
That is part of your cleanup that you're doing. So I talked to the planning department. Excuse me, if I may interrupt. I went down to the planning department here about a week ago, and I talked to them, and I talked to sort of a little bit higher up, and they go, "Hey, listen, we're only doing what above says. This is what's happening. They're cleaning up. There's a backtrack on it. It's going to be now allowable." I'm like, wait a minute. I have a piece of paper. I have it. I didn't bring it here, but I can bring it. I have a piece of paper on the listing, and it says short-term rental, not allowed. Not permitted, not allowed. Bed and breakfast, yes. But bed and breakfast is a different situation. Bed and breakfast, there's now people at the house. My wife and I would have no problem if the people lived in this house, and this is what they use to come in and out. I understand that. But this thing has been like, it expanded. The intended purpose of this easement, back when it was written, is basically for property owner A to be able to cross over property owner B. Now, granted, what does that mean? Well, it sort of means that, hey, can my friends come in? Sure, of course they can. Can the gas man bring gas? Absolutely, right? But now it's expanded to some friends, some clients, strangers. Wait, hang on a second. It got expanded so big, and what I keep trying to understand is that how my 50-foot piece of property coming off of Atkins Road, so I'm in Clements, you guys all know where I'm at. That 50-foot section has a 25-foot easement along it, and then it turns and goes down past my house where I build it up on the hill and goes to the next door neighbors with another 25-foot. That was private property. But now it's no longer private property because I have people driving in and out, flying in and out, telling me I can do whatever I want. I rented this. I'm like, wait, excuse me. Hang on a second. No, you rent it next door. Please, can you move on?
Well, I appreciate coming here tonight and explaining all that. I think we understand the situation. I would say that I would ask staff to go and meet again with you, get your concerns, and then bring something back to us. I definitely tell you right now, I agree with you, especially when there's easements involved and private property. So it's something that we can't solve tonight because we're really voting on something else.
Absolutely.
But we hear you. And
thank you. It's been as long as I've been my adult life, this has been like the biggest nightmare ever. It's absolute nightmare. I don't even know what to do. I'm at a crossroads of, do I just sell everything and leave and start over? Because I'm going to have to start over.
Yeah, we want that to happen.
I thank you very much, and I really appreciate all the work you guys done. And I say that from the bottom of my heart. I never moved out of the county, and I've been part of this county since 1984. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming and sharing. Thank you.
If I may, through the chair, if we could ask staff to clarify what's before you tonight, specifically in regards to the short-term rental, to clarify whether tonight there's anything that you want to consider in regards to the statement or not. Just to be clear, I think staff may have some insight. Then you can consider tonight's item. In addition, of course, I think staff understands that they will meet with the gentleman and address the situation both in any way they can address it specifically, but additionally, if there's anything to bring back for your consideration. So those two things are going to happen either way. But if I may, through the chair, I think it would benefit the commission to have Megan and or Corinne go ahead and weigh in.
Okay.
If I may. So the reason that we're doing this text amendment is for clarifications because of questions like this that we've gotten from customers where they're confused about what we are and are not allowing in the new title. So what happened was that the words in the section specific to short-term rentals explain that they're required to have a zoning compliance review. But when you go to the tables, there were two places in the tables where they were included, and one showed them as not permitted, and the other one showed them as permitted with the wrong land use application. So there's all kinds of confusion about that, and what we're doing tonight with this text amendment is taking out the incorrect line that showed they weren't permitted and leaving in the one that shows they're permitted with a zoning compliance review for clarification purposes. So we're not changing the fact that they're allowed in the ag zone or not allowed. We're just clarifying what they're required to do to have one. We do think it's valuable to have further conversations about the specifics on them, and that you mentioned. We've had previous discussions with county council and some other folks about, we need to kind of see how this is working and where the issues are. So we'd love to hear feedback from the public about those specific items, so we can consider other text amendments that might be more in depth and go into some of the details. But this one is just for clarification to make the tables accurate.
Okay, so I got a question. On the table you just mentioned where you said that you can have a rental on farm property, but it has to go through a compliance review. The property that is now renting has not gone through that compliance review. Is that correct?
I don't have the property address or parcel number information, but I am not aware of any that have gone through yet. So my guess would be that no, they don't have a permit.
Okay, so by voting for these changes, no one who has property, who's renting it out right now in farmland, would be grandfathered with what they're doing right now. They would have to adhere to the changes that we're going to make tonight. Is that correct?
Correct.
And if I may, in regards to that, this further discussion, I will work directly with staff in regards to the unique item raised on easements. That's a very unique area of law. It's not specifically addressed in our short-term rental ordinance now. I'm not sure the proper way to address that, so that is something we'll explore specifically because it's been raised by the gentleman tonight, and it is unique, and it's a difficulty. And so, again, anytime the public can bring those issues to us, it's helpful. So I just wanted to close the loop on Megan's comments that we will work together in specifically that, as well as the zoning and the compliance process. I think those are a really good point you made. So thank you, Chair.
We have a participant online that may want to speak. Right now I'm going to ask the person on Microsoft Teams if you'd like to speak on this item regarding the development title text amendment. Please speak now.
I joined for item number 1.
We have postponed item number 1.
Yep, I was staying on and listening to the gentleman short-term rentals because there's simple around me. So interested.
Did you have any further comments?
No.
Thank you.
That is all for online.
No other comments? No?
Motion
A motion.
I make a motion that we approve PA 300021 development and corrections to what's been presented and the corrections to the plan.
I'll second.
Vote?
Commissioner Sangha?
Yes.
Commissioner Milas?
Yes.
Commissioner Rustaller?
Yes.
Commissioner Midgley?
Yes. Motion passes. Are there do we have any other business?
She will both give other business and the date to appeal the item that was.
Oh,
That's okay. We got this, guys. Oh, that's right. Okay, go ahead then.
So that item is forwarded to the board, so it will be
So it won't
scheduled
be
for
okay.
Board of Supervisor meetings. There's no need to
okay.
go to the board. Under Board of Supervisor updates, I want to let you know that the general plan text amendment for the AI zone has been scheduled to be heard by the board on March 28th. That's going to the board soon. And then upcoming meetings, we have on the April 6th agenda, we have the Rivermaid item that we continue from tonight. On April 20th, we have the use permit and development agreement for commercial cannabis on South Bird Road. We have a road name change and a use permit for a religious assembly that is on South San Jose Road in Tracy. And then so far scheduled on May 4th is a general plan map amendment, zone reclassification, and a site approval to create like a multi-use commercial building, medical offices, eating establishments over on Main Street, Stockton. And then we have a use permit for a small winery, which is on North Davis Road.
Was that the director's report?
Yes, that's
Thank you.
all included together.
Thank you, all together, okay. Well, then I will adjourn.